Welcome to another episode of Capturing the Moment with Sean. Today we have a question from Mark. He asks, can you give a quick demo of what a Canon operating system looks like? And what he means is that pretty much the menus of the Canon, because if you read here, he continues, I am a Nikon shooter, and I recently switched over to Canon. I want to know what the differences are. Now I will be, because I am covering both on here, I will be doing a quick video just like this with the Nikon menus. But for today, we're going to be answering his question with Canon. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go in depth with a lot of things because that'll be for a future video. Today, I'm going to go over some of the main things, and I'm actually going to show you a special feature on here that I love, very handy, the quick menu, the custom menu. But I'm going to actually go over each tab. As you can see on the top here, very different from Nikon in that the icons are quite different. As you can see, they're color coded with different images. So these are all your camera settings here. So on the top we have quality. Now I am shooting in RAW. Okay, and actually if we go here, you can see the menus. You can shoot RAW, you can shoot large, medium, small, JPEG, medium RAW, small RAW. Okay. Red eye on and off, that's handy. Beep on and off, that's really handy. I like to use that, when I'm in a church or when I'm doing something, where I don't want to draw a lot of attention to myself. A special event, that's always nice. Release shutter without card, that's very handy. I've done that many times, so that's a great feature. A lot of times they use this in the store demos, so when you're taking a picture, nothing is saving to the card, but that's a really dangerous thing, so I always have this on. Well, I actually always have it off, so you never have to worry about shooting and then you get home and you find out that you have no images. Believe you me, it's happened to the best of us. It's happened to me, that's for sure. Review time, flash control. Here we're going to the next one. Exposure compensation, that's a really good one. You got your white balance settings. This is a really good one. You're going to see all the different settings, auto, daylight, shade, cloudy, and onward. Okay, you're going to have a custom white balance. If you have a gray card, you can set that up. Your white balance shift, color space, picture styles. There's different ones. It depends on what you want. There's standard, portrait, landscape, neutral. Okay, you can keep going on and on and on. Monochrome. There's a whole mess. You can also have your own custom ones. So that's pretty cool. And they just add different effects and whatnot. But I shoot in RAW, so I do all my editing, post-processing in a program called Lightroom and Photoshop. Okay, dust delete data, not too much important ones here to cover right now. I can go into detail on these later. But we also do have the ISO settings where you can set that manually. Right now I have it on 6400. Okay, your live view shoot enabled for your LCD screen. Your autofocus mode, a grid display. That's really cool. Depending on what you're shooting, sometimes I do use this. Silent shooting. Okay, moving along here. Just going over the main ones here. Protect images, that's a good one. Rotate, erase images, print order, resize, raw image processing. You can do a little bit of editing there. If you have to do some quick edits. Highlight alerts, that's really, really good. That actually show you all your blown out areas of an image. I was doing a photo shoot outside during the summer of some flowers, and I had a lot of clipping and a lot of the sky, and it actually showed me, and I was able to go in with exposure compensation and tone that down a bit and stop the highlight alerts. So really, really helpful. Your histogram brightness, slideshow, image jump, all your power settings. This is really important. File numbering is important. And also formatting. If you don't want to, just erase a few images, you can actually just format the entire card, of course, once you have it backed up. Let's see here. LCD brightness, of course, your standard fare, date and time, language, and some GPS settings are in there. Battery information, very useful. Info button display options, that's pretty useful. file name, camera user settings, copyright information. If you want to actually put copyright information embedded in your images, that's the place to do it. I have mine set. And your firmware version of the firmware or operating system that is on this camera. The software that runs the camera, basically. And then you have your function keys here that you could set, and your custom function keys. And then last but not least, one of the most important menus I think in the Canon firmware here is my custom menu. This is the menu that I use all the time. I actually made this menu. You could go in here and you can make the menu too, depending on what you want, what kind of job you're doing. For the most part, I keep this the same. However, I do like to change it up on the fly every so often. But for the most part, this is what I like to have. So I like to have my beep options, where I told you about the silent mode, flash control, exposure compensation, your highlight alert warnings, a format, battery info, and your My Menu settings, which you can actually go in to make your changes. As you can see here, you could sort the menus, delete all items, display from My Menu, and whatnot. Okay? Pretty good stuff. So, and you can see, you can click on certain things and you can actually change them. But that is the My Menu. Very useful. Nice to have a menu on the fly where you can get to all your favorite stuff that you use most of the day. Like I said, every so often, depending on the job, you know, a wedding or a portrait shoot, you know, I might change them. But for the most part, that's the menu that I like to use. And that is a quick overview of a Canon firmware or operating system, if you will, menu system. Quick tour. The guy asked, and on top of that, to follow up that question, I will also do Nikon, because I do want to cover both cameras. So he asked to see it on a Canon. Definitely do a quick walkthrough of the menu system on a Nikon. You know, you could be a Canon guy going to Nikon, guy going to Canon. You could be both. You could not have done any at all. You're new into photography. Again, this series that I started, Capturing the Moment, is for beginners, intermediate, you know, advanced, all levels, starting from the bottom to the top. Okay? But that is my settings and menu for the Canon. This is on a Canon DSLR 7D, but it's pretty much the same for all Canon DSLRs. Thank you for joining me today. Until the next video, I will see you again soon. Take care.